Hi, I'm Francina,
I'm Jackie.
and welcome to the Rest, Love, and Justice podcast.
This podcast is an inquiry into whether rest and love and justice can produce transformative social change. The dominant narrative is this overwork and this glorification of it, especially in the justice space. And here, we're going to question that notion.
Come sit with us as we meet our collective humanity and share stories around rest, love, and justice. It is our hope to create a shift that enables us to recognize that racial justice work is a human issue. It affects us all.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Rest, Love, and Justice podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Jackie Gao.
And I am Francina Call, excited to be here with you today. And we are doing a vibe out today around travel.
Yes. Francine and I both love to travel. We have maybe an insatiable appetite for travel,
Yeah.
local, hyper local, and then also out into the whole world. That is something that we definitely connect on. And one theme that we see the intersection of our love of travel and our love of rest is sometimes how those feel incongruent or, as we've heard people say, I need a vacation after my vacation because air travel is challenging, or there's just unexpected things that come up with travel. So today we want to talk about, is rest possible while you're traveling, and just our experiences with that. Francine and I were both traveling in end of June and July this year, and we were on a text thread together like, we didn't budget enough for rest. We didn't have enough downtimes, enough spaciousness. So if things don't go exactly as planned, like, we can still be calm and relaxed and in our natural states and enjoying what's around us. So today we're going to talk a little bit about that, a couple tips, a couple lessons learned too.
Mm-hmm. I definitely feel like there is a strong pull for scarcity to seep in when travel is related, right? So if, for example, you've not been somebody who's traveled a lot, I remember when I first started traveling, and I would feel like, oh my gosh, I need to pack it in. Because what if I never get to do this again? Right. And so I remember one of my first really big trips I took with my family, we went to Rome because I always wanted to take I love Italy and always wanted to take my kids because I really want them to see the world. Right. And I remember having the conversation in my head. We were there for like 5 days because we were going other places in Europe, but we were there for like 5 days. And I remember just saying, I'm going to let go of what I don't get to because I want this. I want to fully experience this. And I don't want to be running through the streets of Rome trying to check off that I went to the Spanish Steps and I went to the Trevi Fountain and I went to the Colosseum and I went, right? And so I never saw the Spanish Steps. And there were other things that I didn't get to because I chose to just slow the pace down enough to really enjoy the places that we did go and see. And so I just wanted to bring that forward that, yeah, scarcity is a real thing, especially if you haven't traveled a lot and you feel like, oh my gosh, this is my one chance. It's never your one chance. And if you love it enough, you will go back. And I threw a fountain in that, I threw a coin in the Trevi Fountain and said, I will be back someday. And then I'll go see the things I never saw, right? And then you have a different experience when you get to go to those places. But I will say one thing that I try to embrace when I travel with my whole family is I actually don't plan a lot of things. In fact, sometimes I'll plan the things when I get on the ground because I don't know what's going to happen when we get there. Like we went to Morocco a few weeks ago, and the Airbnb that I had planned to be in for 2 solid weeks ended up having cockroaches. And then we were able to get out of that Airbnb, and then our whole travel plan changed and we ended up going to Casablanca. And so the excursions that I would have booked if I had booked everything in advance and we were kind of on the schedule, we would have been stressed now trying to change all those plans, right? And so, I feel like having the spaciousness to say we can figure things out when we get there. And sometimes the experience is just being on the ground and being immersed in the culture of wherever it is you're going. That is also the experience, not to be overlooked with going to see tourist sites.
I love that. Like, let go of the places that you didn't get to. Like,
Yeah.
just kind of release that scarcity. I really appreciate that wisdom. And I think that's good advice when you're home too, like not to be rushing
Mhm.
around and doing all the things, like be present of where you are and what you can do and what's right in front of you. I love that. And I was talking about rest and travel with a good friend, Ed King, recently, and he was telling me that him and his wife, when they arrived in Madrid, they went straight to a hammam, straight to a spa, and just got over their jet lag by resting in that way. And of course, spa or
Mm,
hammam is not necessarily everyone's thing, but like, what is that for you? If you love travel and you also want to feel like it's sustainable, that you're rested throughout the trip, and then definitely when you get home, what are those practices that you can like bring in immediately to make sure things are just balanced? And for me, it's like, and my partner, it's a lot of swimming. Like if we can get to a
mm.
public pool, if we're near a river or a lake or something, just like being immersed in water and then getting some exercise, swimming some laps if that's what it is. And that's just nice. Like that's now built in, especially because my partner's leadership in that, like he is now built in. Like where's the pool? Where's the the public pool? Where's the river we can go and just submerge ourselves. So I love that.
Yeah. I also just want to bring forward to the culture that social media has sort of established for us to show the world how much fun we're having, right? And show the world what we're doing, if you will. I always say that social media is sort of the highlight reel of your life, and that can create a pressure and a frenzy to feel like you've got to go and do all the things on the list so that you can show the world that you've done all those things. And you miss the point that this is actually for you, right? The travel, the vacation is for you, not for the things that you will see when you get to that place. Because 10 more times than not, okay, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get to the tourist trap place and there are throngs of people, and it will not be the highlight of your trip more times than not. It's super crowded and you're just navigating all these people, and sometimes the best experiences we have are when we peeled off the road and went this unexpected place that we didn't think we were going to get to. And then we met, like in Morocco, we met this wonderful man who became my brother, who invited us to his home and we had dinner with his family. That became a highlight of the trip for me. That was not necessarily going and seeing, whatever tourist site or walking through the souks, which is lovely. Don't get me wrong, it is lovely. But when you're trying to plan travel that also has ease in it, so when you get back, you're actually replenished from your travel, knowing that the physical act of traveling, like being on an airplane, unless you're flying business class, of course, which even with that, there's a lot of fatigue with the jet lag and travel and picking up your luggage and taking your luggage here, and the mental clutter that creates. I think is important to make sure that you're building in spaces of ease. And especially if you're listening to us and you travel with your family, I know Jackie and I texted a lot that I didn't build in enough days to just not have anything happening. Like, and for a lot of people, when you have such a short amount of vacation time, right, you feel like, oh, I'm going to go to this place. I can only be there for 4 days or 5 days. I actually have a friend on social media who traveled to Portugal for 3 days from the United States, which to me sounded absolutely crazy because like the first day is not even a day, right? And then you got like 2 days and then you're coming back already, right? Um, but how do you build ease into that so that you travel in a way that is sustainable for you and you're replenished when you get back?
Yeah. I appreciate all that, and I definitely want to shout out to my partner for bringing that into my world. I
Mm,
definitely was someone before that was like, "Do everything, don't rest, burn the candle at both ends," kind of thing. But his energy, his Pisces energy, is like able to kind of bring it down. Like, what would be like the best, highest use of our time while traveling, and like what are the sweet memories that we want to create? And that often doesn't mean checking off everything on the list. That means
yeah.
like slowing it down a little bit. And I will advocate here for sure for naps. There was a
Mm,
time traveling with my extended family in London this summer, and most of us got sick, but I like took a nap and I rested one afternoon, and then like I just felt so much better. So sometimes that nap, even though I missed out on a few moments with my nieces and nephews, things that I really wanted to do, it was like, oh, I got to take care of myself. I got to rest.
mm, mm. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it just comes back to that same thing we keep talking about. What is restful for you? And making sure that you build that into whatever you choose to do with your time, especially with travel. Remember that the experience of being in another country is part of the vacation as well. I always tell Jackie that when I go to new places, I really love to just wander the streets and see what's in the bakery, walk into a grocery store, and go to a farmer's market and just really sensory wise consume the energy of a place that I am. And I feel like that definitely contributes to some of how I acclimatize to a new place, but also it really contributes to just like connection to the place. Because I think when we're not connected to the place that we're traveling, we can feel like we're outside of it. And that takes a lot of energy because then you're like, oh, I don't know what to do. And there's like this frenzy that comes upon you where you feel like, oh, I'm wasting time, right? Because I'm sitting at this cafe and I'm consuming my coffee in a ceramic cup, which they do there all the like if you travel to Europe anyways. And actually most places, even when we're in Morocco, like they didn't give there was I never saw a paper cup. I never saw a paper cup anywhere. I don't know. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, not in many places. Yeah, I mean, my favorite thing when I went to India was because I make pottery, I make ceramics, like there is terracotta cups that I have my chai, like this the side of the road chai has these like single use terracotta cups, but single use meaning that then they recycle that back into the pottery and make more the next day.
Ah,
So that was just amazing moment. I have this photo that I took of just like drinking delicious chai on the side of the road, and then this like really sweet ceramic cups. Yeah, no paper cups there for sure in that
wow.
moment.
And even just hearing you share that story makes me feel like I was there with you. And the experience of that is the vacation. you know, it's not, I mean, yes, going to see the Taj Mahal is dope. I'm not going to say it's not, but don't miss out on the little moments that make your vacation feel more whole and tangible to you in a way that you will remember forever, you know.
Mhm.
Well, this is feeling complete for me.
Yeah, thanks for this
Yeah.
combo, and I know we'll have more content for this type of topic too in the future as we're gonna be traveling, um, for a different project, in the fall and then again in the winter, so there'll be more on this topic for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for nibbling with us on this conversation about how to make rest more accessible to us and weaved into our travel so that it's sustainable for us and that we can continue to see the world in ways that make us more abundant. Thanks for
Oh,
joining
yeah.
us today.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.
And that is our show for this week. This episode was produced by The City Music. As for me, I'm Jackie Gao, and thanks to my co-host, Francina Call.
May you move through this week embodying rest, love, and justice in ways that are meaningful to you and your community. Thanks for joining us today. Peace
Peace
and
and
love.
love.